Okay, fine. I'll whinge about Liael for a bit. So, for Thursday's stream, we got a bunch of promos revealed, one of which includes a new promo for Liel Draconis. And I was originally going to do a video going over like all of the stream reveals, so all of these promos plus like Alcastle, and it's like, okay, the video ended up being 37 minutes, and I feel like I don't want to upload that, so we're gonna just do this instead. So we got a new card, Magic of Silver Key Kill. So during your turn, if your bind zone has the same card name, power plus 10,000. At the end of the battle, this unit attacks. If you don't have a rear guard with the same name, perform one of the following. You can either reveal a grade 3 with Draconis in its card name from your ride deck, which the way that they worded it implies to me we're getting another Draconis Vanguard that may or may not be Liel, but we'll see, and draw a card. Or if your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater with Draconis, you can either retire it or put it into your soul, then draw a card. So my first impression upon reading this is that it's kind of bad? Question mark? Like, I was not very impressed with this because the part where it has to remove itself from the board is mandatory. So, like, on paper, this is theoretically a better version of Idaros, where it's like, okay, it has the same condition where it's like, same name, power plus 10,000, but instead of soul blasting to draw a card, which is already a major resource that you have to use for everything else, it just, like, draws you a card for free by cycling itself. But, like, Idaros is not the best rearguard in the deck, so being a better Idaros isn't great to begin with, and then, like, mandatory getting rid of itself just feels like not what Liel needs to be doing. Like, I personally have found myself struggling to maintain a board presence between like the decks in the format that just have easy removal, but also like middling hand advantage combined with a lot of your defensive power comes from using Amorta as a PG. It's like you don't have as much hand power as you would think. So, like a card that gets rid of itself just doesn't seem like it's doing what the deck needs right now. Like there is a combo you can do between this and Sail Event, the new grade 2 that like when it's bound you Soul Blast 1, call it to a back row, and then it has boost. Where like, okay, you attack with this boosted by Sail Event, then it like retires itself, then you can like bind the Sail Event and call another copy of Kickhill, and then the Sail Event comes back, but like that requires you to like call Kickhill in grade 2, it dies, then you bind it for Draconis effect, then you have to find a second copy of Kickhill that you can call out, and then you have to call out the Sailavant, and then you still need to also have something to discard for Draconis. It just seems like all of the hoops you have to jump through to make that combo happen where you get to attack twice for 30k is just a lot. And it means like dedicating all of your bind power to these two cards, which means not binding Gabwelius and making your other column potentially weaker, right? Because if it's Religiel, then you don't have Gabwelius in bind zone, it's only a 15k. Or you have like the Gabwelius, which kind of gets stuck on the board and leaves it susceptible to removal. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like very worth it. And, the main thing that Kickhill gives you is grade 2 power. The fact that you can commit it early on, get a bit of aggression, and then it cycles itself is nice. It doesn't open you up to CB denial because it doesn't use any resources and gets rid of itself so it can't be attacked, which is like a good thing for the deck. It's just after turn 2, it feels like everything you could potentially do with it is super awkward. And that just feels like how Liel has been since Draconis came out. I think Draconis is like almost perfect, right? Being able to call any name in your bind zone instead of just the one that you bound is great. Having an ability that lets you bind an extra card combined with that gives you way more flexibility. Drive +1 is always good. Like, if you're going to get an extra card, then having it in the form of a drive check is the best way to do it. But then at the same time, it's like Energy Blast 4. bind a normal unit for cost and then discard a card on top of that, it's like so awkward how overcosted that feels. If it was one or the other, either Energy Blast 4 or discard a card, I could understand it, but the fact that it's both means you're now cut off from anything that uses energy in the deck, and you also have to constantly find like additional discard fodder on top of like trying to strategically bind key cards to set up your combos, and it's just super annoying. And the fact that it's like discarding for effect instead of cost too, where you can't even like discard a card and then just bind the thing you discarded, it sucks. And Say Levant, I think, has similar problems to Kickhill, where it's like, okay, when it's bound by the ability of Liael, you can call it out to be a booster, but then it just goes back to the bind zone at the end of the turn, so it's like, God, I don't even get to like keep the card. I have to like pay resources to get it back to begin with, and it's just gonna go away afterwards. Like, that's so annoying. Like, why did they do that? My conspiracy theory, and I think this holds true for decks like Varga too, is that because Liel's divine skill is so powerful, with Draconus you're getting like 5 drive checks, with Gobwelius you're getting 6 attacks. The numbers should be like pretty good overall. It's a very strong turn, so they've decided like, okay, well, the rest of the deck is going to be super awkward to make up for the divine skill being so strong, and it's like, ugh, God you know? And Liel isn't a bad deck per se. It does have tops in Japan, though that is with the Nebula Knight order that we don't have in English yet. Coming in set 12, but we're waiting a while for it to be like relevant a little bit. And, it's just really annoying that every card they print is almost there, but it just has these little quirks about them that makes the deck like less good than it could be. Like, was it really that bad if we could just keep this unit on the board? Like, if we decide we don't need the extra draw, we don't have to cycle it away. But, like, nope, you just have to. It's mandatory. It has to get rid of itself. Ugh. All right. You know, I'm annoyed. And that is going to be it for this video. Thanks for listening to my little rant. Bye.